such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. Want to highlight again our webpage, for such a time as this .today. For such a time as this .today. It is here. It is at our website where you can sign up for our weekly emails, or you, if the Lord so leads, you can actually give us a few dollars to spread the news. But for such a time as this .today is the place where it's the place where if Big Brother clamps down on us, we can always stay in touch. You can sign up for our weekly email at our webpage for such a time as this. All right. All right. At the WhiteHouse.gov, you see here, it says the Biden-Harris administration immediate priorities. You come down here to racial equity. The promise of our nation is that every American has an equal chance to get ahead. And it goes on. That's at WhiteHouse.gov priorities. And so on that, at the White House, they're saying that racial equity, it's no longer racial equality. I wonder, equity, equality. Maybe so the races aren't be equal anymore. It's equity. I don't. You got me. So I look at the priorities, not what you say, what you do. And I've heard something like 46, 42 executive orders. So I went on federalregister.gov. It's a government website. And it's saying 24. So as of today, it's 24. It's February the 2nd, and it's up to 24 executive orders. I'm sorry if you've got more, let me know. But I'm going off of their website here, federalregister.gov. And let's look at the executive orders that President Biden has gone over. So 2001, Joe Biden's executive orders. Watch this. Strengthen Medicaid and Affordable Act Care. They're going to take your health care away. Tackling climate change. So climate change, a priority. Advisors on science and technology. You only know what that is. Reforming incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. So he's dealing with criminals and suing future made all Americans by all American workers. That's some other Marxist legislation. Not really hip on what that is. I read it. Doesn't make sense. Most of this stuff doesn't make sense. All right, here we go. Watch this one. Enabling all qualified Americans to serve their country in uniform. That's for the transgenders. They can serve openly, protecting federal workers. Economic relief to the COVID. Boom, 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 boom. Public health supply chain. Supporting reopening continue up for schools. Protecting work health and safety. Again, it's the Marxist way to take over healthcare. Promoting COVID-19 safety. Improving, expanding access to care and treatment for COVID-19. Yada, yada, another COVID-19, ensuing equitable pandemic responses, yada, yada, as though the COVID virus is racist. But anyway, or those that responded to it as racist. Again, another COVID thing, revision of civil immigration enforcement policies. That's for the illegals coming on the south border, it seems. Federal regulation, protecting federal workers. Wearing masks, you need an executive order for masks. Protecting health care, and it goes on. Ethics, branch personnel, preventing, combating discrimination on basis of gender identity and sexual orientation. There you go again. That's the transgender. He gave another bone to the transgender community. All right, goes on. Effective response, another COVID-19. He's the president. It's going to wipe out COVID-19. Goes on. And then we get to this one. The 20th, the first day. Advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities throughout the federal government. Throughout the federal government. That was on the first day. Racial equity. Equity. Let's click here. What exactly does this mean? equal opportunity for the bedrock of American democracy. He goes on, therefore, the policy of my administration, the federal government, should pursue the comprehensive approach to advancing equity for all. Wonderful, Joe. What else? Advancing equity across federal government. He goes on and on and on. The role of domestic policies, identifying methods. And then look what it says here. It says, as part of this study, the director of OMB shall consider whether to recommend that agencies employ pilot programs to test model assessment tools and assess agencies in doing so. Within 6 months of the date of this order, the director of OMB shall deliver a report to the president describing the best practices identified by the study and, as appropriate, recommending approaches to expand use of those methods across the federal government. So he wrote an executive order to do what? To study if there's been any racial inequality within the federal government. So, as a brief review, what did the Mexican community get? He stopped the wall. He's not deporting people. He's trying to make 11 million illegal citizens. So the Mexican group got what they wanted. A substantial, verifiable, quantitative, something they got from the president that could be measured. What did the transgender group, that wing of the Democratic Party, what did they get? Well, now it's reported, if you read through it, they can serve openly in the military. The transgender group, guess what? They can also, boys can now act like girls in sporting events. Now boys can beat girls in running and throwing and wrestling and basketball. So the transgender group, they got what they wanted. And the black people, what did you get? A study. A study. Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States of America. You have the Congressional Black Caucus. You have black senators. Well, Cory Booker and who else? Do you have another one? Well, you have Scott, but he doesn't count. He's a Republican. You got black senators. You got black House congressional members, and what do you get, black Democrats? Do you get voucher programs for blacks stuck in inner city schools that are failing so bad they're not even meeting now? Does the black community get school vouchers? Nope. Does historical black colleges get increased funding? Does the historical black colleges get federal studies, federal contracts? No. Does the inner city blacks get TIF districts? Do they get economic opportunity zones to better black communities? No. What did the black community get? A study. A study. You happy with that, black Democrats? You got to study. Which brings up the immortal words of Malcom X. Now, the Muslim and I, we don't agree on the theological eternal truth of God. But on this, the Muslim Malcom X has something to say to you blacks who watch everybody else get their stuff, and you get a study.
You're the one who put the present Democratic administration in Washington, D.C. The whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House. When you see this, can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump.
I don't understand black Democrats. Joe Biden, do you remember this picture? Joe Biden got on a phone call, a Zoom phone call to me in which he made some racist remarks. But look at it. Vice President Harris now in the middle with Al Sharpton on the right and all these other black people in a Zoom call. Well, what were you talking about? You're telling me you had nothing to tell him? All these promises, all these talks, and again, measurable things coming from the executive order. No border wall. 11 million immigrants seeking to become legal residents here, right? No more deportations. Man, the Hispanic community got some stuff. And listen, I know what's my wheelhouse and what's not. You want to talk scripture and theology? I can go with anyone. That's fine. But when it comes to political stuff, I'm open to being corrected. I know what the Hispanics seemingly got. I know what the transgenders got. There was even one report that now the federal government, if you're a government employee or if you are in the service, the federal government will pay to have your sex changed. That's crazy to me, but that's what they got. The transgender community can now participate in high school sports, regardless of what their God-given sex is. And now they can serve openly in the military. What did you get, Black Democrat? Still trying to figure it out. You got to study. You got zero. You got nothing. Now, in 6 months, the guy's supposed to come back and give a report. 6 months. You need 6 months to figure out what to give the black community. I think Malcom X has something else to say.
In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republican. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you bash controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you are dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
His point is the Democrats have all the power, the Senate, the House, and now the White House. And the black man gets a study. The black Democrat gets a study. We'll see. We'll see. That speech was given in 1964. And nothing has changed. Oh, my black people, my people, my people.
For such a time as this,